Hey, it's Dr. Natalie here, and I am with Maura Welch,
Amy.
and at the DMC Digital Content Monetization Conference. And I was just fascinated by the results that you guys are getting. One, from the point of view of not using traditional marketing and sales dollars, and two, how you build your audience to monetize it.
Okay. So WeeWorld.com is a top 10 teen site. We are rated by ComScore in the top 10. We've always grown virally for ourselves. So when we first launched WeeWorld.com, we had a partnership with AIM in the US, and we grew our audience initially through that, but it quickly took off through word of mouth. And because we made it possible for Weemies to meet each other, lots of telling friends, and so we still have this incredible number of teens that show up on the site every month just looking to make a Weemie like their friends did. And
I love that. I want to make a little Dr. Natalie.
Exactly, you totally should.
That would be so much
fun. And publish
fun.
that with this report. I think that would be great. And actually, a lot of adults, because we were on AIM, we continue to have some AIM presence, and you can make your Weemie on AIM. A lot of corporate offices sort of use their Weemies to get to know. Yeah, so especially like people that were remote to each other, they would make Weemies and
like your alter ego, or who you'd really like to be.
Who you'd represent yourself online. It almost always, like, the thing that's unique about the Weemie is it really is you. Unlike other avatars where you're trying to be like the blue fairy or something, the Weemie is really you. So it's like your digital identity. So anyway, I think that we find mass appeal. It's very mainstream appeal to the Weemie avatar itself, and for that reason, you sort of see one and you want to make one for yourself. You just get into that, and that's really been the viral driver behind our site. So we've been lucky enough not to have to invest any ad dollars to grow our site. We're now up over 2 million uniques per month, mostly 13 to 17-year-old teens in the U.S. Sort of just growing on a viral basis, which is great. So it took an investment and a belief in this brand that we have, and over time to just invest in that. So that's paid off, and because we are able to aggregate this audience, we can then monetize that audience through advertising and also the sale of virtual goods by virtue of the kind of business we are.
Yeah, you had a slide up there. Virtual goods is a $12 billion, did I get that right?
Yes,
business?
$12 billion and growing business.
Wow.
Yep.
And then mobile apps was $15 billion.
Mobile apps is $15 billion, and then social media advertising is taking a larger share of the digital advertising budget every year, now at $3 billion, growing fast, that kind of thing. So, when I did the last slide of that presentation talking about why social games has this incredible viral element and also this high rate of engagement. I mean, kids come to our site, they stay there for 30 minutes or more, and they're there often.
Right.
They're changing their Weemie once a week. They're very invested.
Wow.
If they don't come back, they start to feel weird. It's sort of like if you have a pet you don't feed. You know what I mean?
Right. Kind of, yeah, that Webkins does that
it has a little bit of
thing.
that, but it's more tied up in your own identity.
Sure.
So because of that rich, engaged audience, we become a really valuable property for advertisers. So, any brand who's interested in getting very targeted reach to 13 to 17, they're showing up and they're, working with us to integrate their brand into the site.
So I think what's interesting is that you didn't spend a whole lot of traditional marketing and sales dollars. For WeeWorld, you used a social media and you created something that people wanted, that was interesting, and the word of mouth built.
Right.
And so I think that's really an interesting thing for executives to understand.
Yes.
The difference between, well, let's build something and then spend $1 gazillion
to just market it. Because what happens to those users? I could do that. I could go out and I could spend $1 gazillion and bring more people to WeeWorld, and my uniques would go up. The problem is those people that come to the site don't come for an authentic reason. They're not high quality users. They tend to be people that saw a banner or do this or do that. I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's a nice way to bump your numbers if you have the budget. But they're not going to stick in the same way an authentic user is.
And I think that's a really key point that a lot of executives don't understand isn't it about just getting a whole bunch of eyeballs and users? And the new thing, I think, is really the authentic user, the one that's loyal, that's going to be sticky, that's going to come back, that's going to spend
that's
in
going
those...
to spend. That's going to monetize. Because will they be the kind of people that come back, spend 30 minutes on the site, become one of the 14% that actually invests their own money in buying items. Those are the kind of users that are very valuable to us, the kind that just kind of show up and go. They have a certain amount of value for our display advertising or whatever it is, but
sure.
they're not going to be the ones that we're going to invest the most in. And even IL, when he was talking about Warner Music and our relationship, you know, they're doing the same thing. This is not a new concept. You build a property, you invest in it, and people will be attracted to it, and then you build a business on top of that.
Right.
So the artist, Jason Derulo, you know, was an emerging artist when he started on WeeWorld, and based on all of the sort of things that they did to build him into a very unique property, he had a large appeal, and he took off. Now, yes, he had ad dollars behind him and all this other stuff too, but it's got to be good.
Yeah.
So the content's got to be good. You can't just kind of wave your hand at it. You got to invest in it.
Right, because that's a lot of executives come to me and they go, oh, could you make us a video? And by the way, could you make it go viral?
Right.
Right, and there seems to be this magic sauce.
And viral, you can't, like, we have this funny thing we say internally. In fact, one of my designers says it all the time, is there's no such thing as a viral video. There's either good video or there's bad video, and then there's really, really good and addictive video. And, like, that's what it is. It's not like there's some checkbox.
Right.
You
It's
know,
not
it has to be more targeted toward, you know, is this something really people are going to want to share with friends? That's what it comes down to.
And I think that's where the brilliance is in these new media businesses, is understanding that piece. And I think that a lot of executives skip over that piece and think, well, we'll just create a video. And of course, everybody's interested in our product thing, widget, and not so much. And so they miss that. And then they come back and they're like, well, how come we didn't get as many videos as this cute little kitty cat?
Right. Right, because it's a cute little kitty
cat.
It's
so cute, and then that's what appeals to people, right? So really understanding, it's almost like the new business model is really understanding the social dynamics and the psychology behind your audience. What do they care about? What are their values? What are their biases? You know, and then where are they, and how can we give them something that they truly value and love?
And we've built a whole business around that identity formation. We basically created a property that you can turn into your own.
Wow.
And that's a really powerful thing, and that's really the bottom line.
It's the user-generated content, but in a new business model.
So there's enough new to it. It's got broad iconic appeal, because every single one is the same and yet not.
Right.
So just like the question in the audience is, how do you have ROI in such a creative intensive business? Well, you make sure that everything has a very strict creative guideline, and you follow that out the window, and that's the way it goes. That's it, you know.
So you're establishing a brand, a tone, a voice.
So for us, we're establishing our brand, and then we're working with brands to integrate it in collaboration with us. So we kind of live and breathe all of that world all the time.
You're eating your own dog or cat food, as it were.
We are.
Which is really important. I think the whole audience thing, a lot of people don't understand that all of this stuff comes from really, truly owning your audience and loving them and appreciating them.
And listening to them.
And let's say that's the other thing. I loved your slide where you said, hey, let's actually ask the kids what they want.
They will tell you.
They told you, and you followed that.
They will tell you in great detail. They will say things like, you know, that headband was okay that you put out on the site, but I really wanted to have a butterfly, and I wanted to animate, and I want it to be blue and sparkle. And in fact, I'd like it to look like this one, and they'll send us a picture. Like, they will design it for you. You just need to be open to listening and have like an internal organizational structure that allows you to hear it.
Right. And that's, I think, one of the keys, because I do a lot of ROI calculation for companies. I talk about what I think the social media world is really about Deming. Do you remember him, the quality guy that we sent to Japan? It really, listening to your employees, listening to your customers, taking that feedback, integrating it back into your company. And it sounds like you guys are really just...
That's what we do, start every day. We read the user feedback every day.
Wow.
That's just what we do.
That's incredible.
We've got people who take the bet that, you know, if it's about the virtual goods, and implement those.
Right.
Or, you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you know, we don't. But we listen. We totally listen. And we have, you know, lists that we're prioritizing around, here are the brands and artists I'm interested in. You know, here are the user experiences that bother me. Here's the ones that I like. And we really...
give the feedback to the artist and to your own company.
Which is new. In social media, it's like that. It's a rapid development process. It's not like we have one product and we set it there. We push a new release of the site out every week. You know, there's new things popping up all the time. We just launched a game. And we have this huge mobile strategy as well, because that's the next big thing. That is the big thing right
That is the big thing. So we have a few more minutes here. If you were talking to an executive who had not entered this space, what piece of advice would you give them?
That's a pretty wide question because it depends
be open
on what they're saying. Yeah, be open, and I would say don't be afraid of it. Like if you're targeting a younger demographic and you don't even understand what the words are that those kids are using to describe what it is, have them give you a tour.
Right.
Really get involved in, or just talk a little more in depth with the companies that are out there, because they're pretty well versed on what it is and have some real data to back it up. So, I wouldn't dismiss it.
Right.
Because it's not going to go away. It's going to get even more enmeshed. So the social graph and the ability to share socially is going to sort of get woven into every single thing that we do.
Yep.
That's my guess. We can't put the cat back in the bag.
Agreed.
So
she's out and she's meowing.
Yeah, it's time. So you just got to get out there. And if you're not on Facebook, if you're an executive who's not on Facebook, you really need to be on Facebook.
Yeah.
Even if you keep your circle of friends really small, just to understand the power of it.
Right. I mean, I've taught a number of executives how to tweet and showed them how to have a conversation. They're like, wow, people are actually talking to each other.
It's really powerful. It's very powerful. And there's a lot of sort of fear built in, or like, it's sort of like, what are those kids up to now kind of a feeling,
right.
But it's not all scary and bad, and it's not going to destroy the earth as we've known it. I mean, I started my career in publishing years ago, and we all were doing digital publishing, and at the time it was going to kill the book. Remember killing the book?
Oh, yeah, and killing the TV.
Killing the TV.
Yes, killing the movie, everything.
Yeah. Nothing ever kills anything. So it's all added on, and it all gets integrated and remade. The Kindle, the this, the that. There's so many things. It just actually presents new and interesting ways to connect to your customers and new and interesting monetization strategies, and you just have to unlock them and figure them out for your own business.
I love this. Thank you so much for taking
the
time.
Well, thank you. It was nice to meet you.
Yes, you too.